I want to briefly talk about why it's important to have a resume or to at least start building one, even if you're not looking for work for the time being, because you will need to look for work at some point, right? Let me get the screen share up. While you're joining that, I will take attendance. So please don't close the tab when it appears. Thank you very much. I will not take very long. I think somebody's getting it. Anyway, so while you join the screen share, I'll take attendance. We're going to look at this classic Google Docs resume template. You might already have a resume that'll work, but I want to show you, just talk through why it's important to have one of these. And even if you're applying for something like a scholarship, or you're applying for, outside of educational, you're applying for something like a grant or an additional type of funding. Usually it's around getting extra money for something you need. Having a resume to prove that you're going to use that money effectively is a really helpful tool. Okay? If I could also ask that the Doritos hot chips get closed, please. That would be amazing. Please and thank you. No Rishi, no Riley. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Okay, let's relock in. So I'm going to send out this link that you see right up here from gdoc.io. It's got a ton of different really useful Google Docs templates in general. So, for example, if you are playing the Google Gnome game, please stop doing that. Thank you. This is one that I would hope you keep open, but this one you can close, because it's going to send you a link to your computer that will show you how to use this template. Okay? Very simply, while you're getting that link sent to you, there's the Use This Template button right here, which will open up another tab. And you can see once this countdown concludes, mine was like 11 seconds or so, it'll say your link is ready in 0 seconds. We're going to start editing now in Google Docs. You could also download a Microsoft Word version if you would prefer working in Microsoft Word, but Google Docs is a lot more accessible and a lot quicker to start using. So you click the Use Template button right up here, and it's going to open that classic resume up in a big number, like it says classic resume. I'm probably number 12,851st person to request this. Okay? There's a couple distinct sections on a resume and things that you can use, or you can apply a lot of thinking to. Because a lot of y'all are still early in your educational career, you probably don't have a ton of job experience, right? You maybe have like babysat, or maybe you work for a family company, a family business. Maybe you've done like artistic commissions like photography or painting. Those are all different types of things that could be used as work experience. But, Marcus and Matthew, thank you. But your main source of job experience is school. School is supposed to be modeled after a workplace where you have different types of tasks, different types of projects, you work in groups. So that's going to be the kind of things you want to include on your resume. So let's start by changing, if you're following along using this exact template, or if you are looking at your own that you've already completed, we're going to put our full name right at the top right here. Okay? Once you open it in Google Docs, you can save it as a resume. Let's go like Blakeney. You could do your last name, then resume. And then this will give us just a little resume template that we can work with. Okay? This is a lot of contact information. I would recommend only an email, because sometimes if you put your cell phone number on here, it gets a little bit, you get some more spam than maybe you bargained for. So you could put your address. For example, we don't live in Halvernsbury, Idaho. Blakeney lives at 1234 Street.
Like I'm gonna dock you.
Yeah, good luck. I live on Street in town, I live in City Wa, so I can put whatever, you can put your address on. You don't have to turn this in, but you can put You want to put your actual address where you get your mail into this spot right here. I'm going to delete the phone number because I don't want to put that out, and I will just put my Issaquah email right here. So blakeneb@issaquah.wednet.edu. Now, because you guys are students, your Issaquah WedNet email does not allow out-of-network emails to come in. So I recommend you use something like a Gmail or an iCloud or a Yahoo or a Hotmail or whatever extra account you have that's not your school one, but still you want it to be low-key professional. You know, you don't want it to be...
Like, if who owns Hotmail?
I think AOL and then Microsoft owns Hotmail. Anyway, so at this point you're just checking in boxes. Even though you haven't completed your education, you still are in education. Instead of university or college name, you want to start with Skyline High School. Right? We knew this. Instead of all of this Bachelor in Science and GPA and stuff, etc., just put graduate or graduation, because that is the certificate or the high school. Actually, sorry, it's not graduation. It's called a diploma. You get your high school diploma once you graduate high school. The location, it's a Sammamish. A lot of this stuff you're just filling in the box, but I want to show you why it's important to have one of these, right? And then you put your year of graduation. For example, I graduated in 2018, so that's going to be when I put my number there. GPA is optional, and relevant coursework is optional for high school because you're going to talk about more of those things in your educational section like this. Oh, hey, what if there was one that was like a high school name right here? We do want to, instead of having two sections, hi, welcome in. Instead of having the two sections for college and high school, because a lot of us are still high school, right? We're going to delete this high school name part right here and start talking about different types of honors or awards or any type of relevant activities like clubs, sports, especially all different types of things that show you are a person who knows what they're talking about, right? I like to say you should highlight specific group projects that you're really proud of or specific assignments that you've completed that you really, really like, because that is your workforce experience at the moment. And when you start looking for jobs, you can see, or a recruiter who also went to high school is going to be able to understand why those things apply to the different types of job skills you could be having. So this is a chance for you to kind of, a resume is a way to flex, a resume is a way to flex a little bit. So spell out all your accomplishments, talk about why you're valuable, why you're a cool candidate, in a sheet of paper that you can bring to an interview, or you can bring to an application, or you can bring to something like that. Okay? So that's the high school part where you talk about different extracurriculars, different accomplishments, different things you're proud of as part of your high school experience so far. Then you get into experience. In this case, you don't have necessarily job titles unless you have an actual job. That can be something to include on there as well. But if we're talking about no job experience, just school experience, you want to put different types of classes or different types of projects in this experience section, because then you can talk about what you did on that group project that's helpful, okay? And then university projects, you guys haven't hit that point yet if that's the path you decide to go down, but university projects end up being really important things that you're proud of outside of university, or outside of high school, right? So, if you're playing Brick Breaker right now on Google, don't. Don't, please. I know some of you already have resumes, but it's important that everybody hears this, okay? Activities is a little bit different from your extracurricular successes and a little bit different from your different teams that you're participating in. That's a little bit, again, something you acquire as you move through adult life, but it is something you can include for your high school experience on in this case. Because a lot of these resumes are a quick kind of one-pager about who you are, right? It's a quick breakdown of the stuff that you provide, the things you bring to the table, the skills you have, the abilities you've practiced, the abilities you've experienced. It's a chance to flex, okay? So if you don't have a resume yet, start thinking about adding these different school things, different activities, clubs, teams. Start adding these different activities that you're proud of. Start putting it into this template. You do not have to turn it in, but it is important to think about, okay? So that's my main thing I wanted to start with today. We can see how we get by Friday. Again, this is not an assignment. This is just me showing you why this is important. And yeah, what is an assignment that's due today is your sleep diary. And we'll talk about that in the last little bit of the day. Okay? Any questions about resumes or what you should be putting on yours as a high school student? No? You especially want to highlight leadership type things too. Like if you're a team captain, or if you're a executive member of a club, or if you organized a group project. I would even go so far as to say if you've organized like a party, like you invited a bunch of people, you bought all the snacks, you planned the activities, that's valuable job skills that you can apply to work. Okay? So that's something you could include on a resume with your current work experience. You want to make it work for you, and you want to flex. Those are my two main things. Sound good? Okay. I'll put this video on YouTube so we can watch it later in case you ever need a reminder. For the meantime, keep working on whatever you're working on. And you have a question, Colton?
Yeah.
What's up?
Why can't you just go with me?
Yeah, I'll come over there. Okay. Thanks for listening, guys.